Now I'm going to introduce Stephen Mulva, the director of CII. Stephen came to CII from Texas State University, where he taught construction management. He holds a master's from UT at Austin and his doctorate from Georgia Tech. At UT, he was a part of a CII-funded study, along with Dr. Richard Tucker, CII's first director, that led to the development of CII best practices. Stephen's other experience has been as a PM consultant with Austin-based EPM, along with experience with 3 other CII members, Fluor, Bechtel, and Phillips Petroleum. Please welcome Stephen to the stage.
Great job. Thanks so much. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to add my welcome to the 2016 CII Annual Conference here in the heart of the nation's capital. Really pleased that you could join us. I'm really excited about this conference. In particular, I'm really excited about the direction that CII is going. I want to take a few moments to tell you a little bit about that. Essentially, we've made a lot of changes. We're here to position CII for the future and for the future of our business. If I could, I want to start by going back to last night. I hope you really enjoyed that welcome mixer. I thought it was a fantastic venue, had an amazing time. But for me, there's actually a personal connection to one airplane in the museum in particular. This plane that's shown here, it's actually the same plane. These pictures were taken 23 years apart. The man standing in front of the plane on the right, his name is Steve Whitman. He's the most famous air racer in history. He's from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. But the personal connection is that my grandfather helped build that plane. And in the 30s and 40s, all the research and development that took place in aviation came from air racing. So that hangar behind Steve Whitman is really the R&D lab for aviation, really for the better part of 2 decades. So many of the advancements that are in the plane on the right, or on the left, on the red plane, a lot of those advancements are still used in commercial aircraft and other types of airplanes today. So my grandfather was 12 years old at the time he helped Steve build that plane. I was fortunate to meet Steve Whitman when he was about in his mid-80s as a kid. So it was pretty fun. But the parallel to Steve Whitman for capital projects is CII. We're the premier research and development center for capital projects, and our practices and innovations are really at the core of what takes place in the engineering and construction industry today. The huge development this year, and I mean huge, is, I hope you all got that, is the knowledge base. And it really condenses 33 years of R&D work at CII, and it's the development and the foundation for what we're going to do at CII going forward. There's a table in the product display area behind us. I want to encourage you to go back there and learn more about this. There'll be some presentations about the knowledge base as well. Also, I'll give you a challenge. There's something from our history called the Interim product database. One of the research teams found that it could save 50% of schedule. My challenge to you is to figure out what's the number of the research team. You know, all our research teams have numbers. We might have a prize for you as well. But if you don't know what that is, just imagine what else is in CII's 33-year history and in the knowledge base that you might not know about either. So the knowledge base makes the next generation of CII possible. And if the first 33 years were about improving the capital projects, the future of CII is about using the capital projects to create business value. And that ultimately is the main reason why we do a capital project. We're going to leverage what we've learned in 33 years across 5 different business sectors. This is in our new governance model. So we've got the Power, Utilities, and Infrastructure Sector Committee, a committee on upstream, midstream, and mining, downstream and chemicals, healthcare and facilities, manufacturing and life sciences. And these committees are going to meet just for the second time this coming Thursday. When our new governance was enacted in April, we intended to make it a matrix structure so that it works together with our staff and our standing committees, and there are 4 standing committees, and all of this is positioned to really drive bottom line results. The other thing that makes it possible are new staff members. So we have 3 people I want to highlight in particular. Jenny Bien joined us in April, and she's there to drive effective communications and member support. Bob Ritter replaced me as Associate Director for Benchmarking and Metrics in June. John Borscheding's been on our research committee for a long time, but he stepped up on an interim basis and made a lot of great advancements in the research area. And so make sure to introduce yourself to our newest staff members. Now, one of the slogans at the University of Texas, of which we're a part, is that what starts here changes the world. And as part of UT, our new operating structure at CII, we're really poised to change the world of capital projects and put them on a fast track to driving a lot of shareholder value. So the sector focus on common business imperatives across the companies in those industry sectors, it's really captured the imagination and the interest of so many people in our business. CII's volunteer effort is at an all-time high. We're probably up 30 to 40% on the number of volunteers. We're growing the number of companies, and we're diversifying our membership across the 5 different sectors that you see. So this is really exciting because we're also faced with some headwinds in this industry, certainly in some of the industry sectors. And that's precisely why CII exists, because whether you're in a boom cycle or a down cycle, we're here to help do research, groundbreaking, quantitative, objective research that's going to help move you and your businesses forward. The committee that's highlighted in purple, the Funded Studies Committee, they're going to continue to do overarching research for all capital projects. And together with the sector research, we're really going to drive a lot of innovations and business results. So, consistent with our new structure, our research has already evolved. Instead of a static 2-year research process, we've gone to a 6-month process that's going to deliver some preliminary findings. We launched 7 new teams in June, and these teams are already hard at work. They're going to deliver their preliminary findings at our board meeting in New Jersey in October. There are some colored sheets at your table from 2 of our research teams. These are about 5-minute surveys. If you could fill those out, turn them in at the Reg desk, it would really help our teams move things forward. But another unique difference on our new teams is that for the first time ever, we made it a requirement that they have a diverse group of academics. So we require them to have somebody outside of civil engineering or construction engineering and management. And we can already tell within a couple months that these teams are making some amazing strides and discoveries. And it's amazing what a new perspective will do for you. A friend of mine likes to say that contrast is the essence of vision. And I never really knew what that meant for a while, but if you think about it, this is exactly what's happening when you put new and diverse perspectives on these research teams. And so I'm really pleased with this, and I'm thankful for the research committee for making a change to the process. The next generation of CII, though, is going to feature fewer deliverables. But we're going to do fewer things, but we're going to do them extremely well. They're going to be very well polished, and they're going to be fully formed. And by fully formed, I mean that they're going to include everything that you need to implement. So we're going to have videos, we're going to have educational resources, we're going to have people to help you with implementation. If you don't do implementation, this is just a book or a research report that sits on a shelf. You have to do implementation to drive business results. And so actually in our governance, it says that we're going to deliver business results. And that's pretty bold for a volunteer organization. But if you think about it, some of the greatest advancements in the history of our country have come from volunteer organizations, whether it's medicine, technology, aviation, or now capital projects. So I've highlighted the upstream, midstream mining sector here. The unique difference in our governance going forward is that each of these sectors is going to receive funding directly. They're not going to have to go back to the board for any additional approvals. So they're going to be free to research exactly what they want to do. Now, we have members of our executive committee that are going to also be at a table at the product display area at the back of the room here. And I encourage you to go talk to them. Any questions you have about our new structure, they're there to answer those questions and tell you what we're doing for the future. So our heightened level of innovation is going to, I think, rewrite the very definition of project success. And if you think about the early days of CII, CII really helped rewrite the definition of safety as 0 accidents. Going forward, I think we're going to rewrite project success as achieving business results. And this means that we've got to go beyond talking about just engineering or concrete and steel. We've got to get into other issues about alignment and joint venture negotiations and partner relationships, stakeholders, community relationships, government relationships, relationships with labor, tax, legal, accounting, finance. All these things I just described are really in their infancy in this industry. They've been around for a while, but they really haven't advanced much. And so when we really focus on these things, the business aspect of it, we're really going to make some major change. And that's going to make the bottom line performance go better. Now, how will we measure business success? And I've put some indexes up here. You've probably already read some of them. I'm not sure what's on the screen is entirely accurate or where we're going, but the idea is we have to measure what we're doing in our industry as reflective in wider financial results. So, you know, over the last 5 years, the Dow's up 61%. The oil price is obviously down 56%. And I wondered recently, you know, what's this doing with our member companies? I was actually filling up my General Motors car at a Phillips 66 station, and I was thinking, I wonder if this is making a difference in my personal buying habits. But then I thought, well, what's it doing across CII? So over the last 5 years, if we had an index fund for the CII companies, and these are the publicly traded members of CII, it would be up 35%. And you can sort of see the split there. The owners have fared better than the Dow, and the service providers have not. So when we research the things that I'm talking about, the idea is we're going to make vastly better projects. They're going to cost less. They're going to be much more profitable. And ultimately, that's going to be a win-win for everybody in the room. So one area where CII has historically made dramatic performance gains is in the area of safety. Our latest safety survey had 3.22 billion work hours in it. It's probably the largest safety database outside of OSHA. We had 61% of our hours were reported by our service providers, our engineering construction contractors. 3/4 of the hours were from international projects. That means outside the US and Canada. The total recordable incident rate for calendar year 2015 was 0.38, and that's about 10% lower than last year. That said, the days away restricted and transfer rate climbed 13% for calendar year 2015, and that ended up at 0.17. But the greatest area of concern is fatalities on our job sites. For the past 2 years, the fatality rate in CII has increased. In 2015, on 3.22 billion work hours, we had 42 fatalities. Half of these were the result of falls or contacts with objects or equipment. And so we've got a lot of work to do. We really have to rewrite the story of safety in our industry to one where we don't have any fatalities anymore. And I'm really excited about the work of Research Team 321 and they're presenting at this particular conference. They've been hard at work for 2 years looking at these low-frequency, high-impact events and what we can do to identify them before they happen. So please make sure to pay close attention to what they're talking about, and hopefully when we're here next year, we see this curve going the other way. Actually, hopefully it's at 0. And so these are the innovations. This is really the key to driving business results. The title of this year's conference is Elect to Make CII Work for You. It has a double meaning, and that's intentional. First, you have the choice to engage with CII or not. That's up to you. If you think that CII is just another industry event, I think you're missing the point and the ability to really share and drive these results. This is a volunteer organization, and when you roll up your sleeves and you get involved, amazing things begin to happen. The second meaning is you have the choice for us to work directly for you or directly through our registered advisors. And this is different for CII. We're going to actually come out to your projects in your location and help you implement, because when that happens, you're going to get the business result. So I encourage you, delve into the knowledge base, figure out what we can do to help you, what you need. This is your institute. So tell us what you need, and we're here to help. I'm going to encourage you to make the most of today and tomorrow. Besides the reports from 8 research teams, we've got a lot of other interesting presentations. For the last year, we've been working with Continuum Advisory Group on an owner study that has some really landmark findings, so pay close attention to that. Instead of a traditional economist at the end of tomorrow, we've got a panel of sell-side market analysts that are representing different segments of our business. They're going to have a different story to tell. And we've got a great lineup of keynote speakers. Our Dunn Award winner from last year, Craig Martin, is going to talk about risk. That should be extremely exciting tomorrow. We've got Joseph Brewer from Dow and Mark Treesh from EPM are going to tell us about alignment on one of the biggest mega projects in the industry in the last several years, actually the largest petrochemical plant ever made in a single phase. It's a really exciting story.